Hello, I'm Julie Alexander, and we are back with election 2026. I have with me the young lady that's running for Secretary of State. Her name is Diane Harris. And we're going to talk with Diane Harris and find out a little bit about her platform and what she would like to do as Secretary of State, what she would like to add. And we're going to talk about the different entities that's up under this umbrella, and Diane is going to inform you as to what her job will entail when she gets in that seat. Hi, Diane.
Hi, Julie. Thank you so much for having
you,
me.
lady, for doing the interview with me again. So first of all, introduce yourself to those that may not know you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, thank you again, Julia, for having me. It's always great to interview with you. You know, I've been all over the state and I've had interviews, but it's always nice to be home.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I am Diane Harris, and I am the candidate for Secretary of State. And we're here at the Joliet Public Library, which is our home. Julie and I both attended here all the time when we were kids. Always come to the library. I'm really glad to be here. And I also sit on the board here. I'm one of the trustees, and I serve currently as their treasurer. So I feel right at home. I'm also one of the board members at the Joliet Junior College, and I'm on the public policy committee. And I serve as the precinct committeeman for the 23rd precinct, which is in Joliet, and I've been a elected precinct committeeman for going on 16 years.
Oh, wow.
And that's because I've been living in the same location. I live over in the cathedral area of Joliet, and the 23rd precinct is there, so I still live in that same area. And the vice chair of Joliet Township Republican. So I enjoy being involved, you know, and being in the community. And just recently I was appointed to a new board, and that's with the Morning Star Mission.
Okay.
And the Morning Star Mission Board is very near and dear because it represents the community, you know, in which I grew up. You know, thank God we didn't have to use it, but I knew what it stood for. And they do some good work over there, and I'm glad to be a part of that. But yes, this is a new challenge for me, and everybody that knows Diane Harris knows that she's run before. So I don't know if you want me to go into that as well, but yes, I have run before, and I think if there's a message to get out that will help people, you know, it's worth putting it out there. And I have a conservative message, and although we may disagree, there's still some things that we do agree on. And the Secretary of State's office is one of those that we may agree or we may not disagree, but I will say before this is over, everybody will seem to know that we all agree that everybody needs the services in the DMV office.
Absolutely, and so that brings me right into my next question, the key duties of the Secretary of State. And I have a few written down here, so we're going to go through those, and you all will be informed. So the first duty is driver and vehicle services. So explain the driver and vehicle services.
Drivers and vehicle services. So I'm going to take you back to when you were 16. When you first got your permit, well not permit, but when you first left driver's ed.
Yeah.
And you're ready to go to the DMV to get your driver's license. So that's how it starts. Everyone in the state of Illinois has to have a driver's license. There's 88.5 million drivers in the state of Illinois.
Wow.
There may be more. They may be driving without
right.
approval,
Of
but
course, yeah.
the ones that we have on records
yeah.
are 88.5 million drivers throughout the state of Illinois. And so individuals will come in, they bring their identification and make sure that you have to have had so many hours. So whether you've gone to a private school for driving or you've taken up the course at the high school, you will get a certificate. You bring that in with your birth certificate, your identification, and then you go into the system. And when I say that, you're entered into the system. And then you're also entered into the system to vote. This is such a crucial moment in our history because it handles twofold. It's twofold. You're getting a driver's license. You're registering to vote.
Yes.
You know, and this is during the time where the Secretary of State's office has to be on their P's and Q's because we're dealing with two sensitive issues that will affect a person's life forever. And not only that will affect yours and anybody else's, because you have individual youngsters that are out driving. You want to make sure that they are who they say they are. They've been trained. They didn't take the test for someone else. You know, they've taken it for themselves. And that also goes along with adults. Even when adults come in, they have to have their correct information, their ID, and they have to take the test. So they have to take the test themselves. They can't have someone else take it for them because they need to be the one that's driving, because otherwise we're jeopardizing, again, everybody's safety.
So let me ask you a question here.
You said that they give you your driver's license and they register you to vote. Does that can you decline the registration to vote, or that's automatic?
Well, that is a good question. If you do it online, you can deny. You can, because then you will be asked, all right, do you want to register to vote? They will ask you, do you want to register to vote? And usually at that moment, that's when, that's the first opportunity of adults, of kids that grow up, that yes, they're ready to vote. So you can deny that and say no, but there is right now, and it's unfortunate, there's an investigation going on that some are getting ballots anyway. So that's some of the stuff we have to curtail, and I'm going to check into it.
Right.
Because if a person does not want to register to vote, then so be it.
Yeah.
You know, we want everybody to vote. We want everybody to vote.
The reason why I asked is I just renewed my driver's license, and I also got the real ID on there and my ID card. And I'm a deputy register, and they registered me to vote still. So I'm wondering, well, how is that?
See that is called election integrity, and it's a big deal today. You know, whether people want to acknowledge it or not, but it is a big deal because it's a person's right, whether they want to vote, whether they don't. Again, we hope that everybody will want to vote, but if they don't, you cannot register a person and get a ballot for them to get a ballot in the mail, and if they don't want that ballot, for someone else to take the ballot and utilize it. That's a federal crime, but it hasn't been curtailed yet. And there's some initiatives going on to try to really curtail that, and I hope that along with let me back up, because the Secretary of State's office does not get involved in the elections.
Right.
We only focus on the registration process. And there's two different things there. And if anyone in the Secretary of State's office is getting involved with elections, we do have a problem because it is not designed, it's not set up that way. We only register. We can do a lot with cleaning the rolls by registering, making sure that the individuals that come in are who they say they are, have a legitimate identification document that says they are who they say they are. And then from that point, our information will go to the State Board of Election and to the clerks throughout the counties. But that is an issue right now at hand. And when I'm elected to be Secretary of State, I will focus on election integrity and make sure that that part of the process, only that part of the process, is done right. One person, one vote.
Well, and I guess, and you're right, absolutely right. And I guess I can almost see me having some difficulties because I'm already registered. I am a deputy register here in the Will County. And so now I'm re-registered again with the Secretary of State. So I'm hoping I'm not going to have any problems when I get to the booth.
Yeah. Well, you probably won't see that part of the
Yes,
problem.
yes.
That part of the problem could be like internalized.
Yeah,
Because what I hear is there's a duplicate.
Okay,
Because if you've already registered, there's no need to re-register.
there's no need.
So that part has to be corrected.
Yeah.
And what will happen with that, it is cleaning up the rolls,
Yeah.
taking the duplicates out,
Yeah.
taking out the individuals who are not eligible to vote.
Yeah.
And, but again, that's the only part that we're responsible for.
Okay.
And when I'm elected, that's the part that we will focus on. We will make sure that one person, one vote, clear up the roll, get rid of the duplicates, and make sure that the election integrity is honored.
Okay, absolutely. That unified commercial code,
Yeah.
could you explain that to my listeners?
Yes. Well, first of all, with the business license, we have several kinds. You know, you have your sole proprietorship, you have your LLC, which is limited partner, limited liability partnership. Those are the LLCs. You have your corporations, and then you have, there's another corporation, I think, S Corp, maybe C Corp, you know, but it's corporations. All of them are filed through the Secretary of State's office. And what I would like to do, before I get to the UCC, and I will explain that, but what I would like to do as the next Secretary of State is speed up the process. Anyone that has filed for any of those types of license, they wait. The bureaucracy of that is ridiculous. I have an LLC, and I remember starting it, and it just takes too long for the process. What I think we should be able to do is, if there's a holdup or some kind of delay, we need to zoom in on those delays. Don't just leave that business person hanging. I think we should partner with some of the local businesses, the chambers or something like that, so that we can help move that process forward. No one should have to wait a year, or someone, I've told me they've waited a year to get it. You know, now it could very well be they have fines that they have not paid. All of that comes into play, but there still should be something that can speed up the process. Because when you think in terms of small business governs the whole country. You know, and that's what makes things function. You know, we have big businesses, but the small businesses are designed to move the country forward. And I think that we, as a government, should be there to at least assist in them getting. I will throw out a shout out for JJC. They have the EBC, and they are doing a wonderful job with helping businesses. You know, so. But the Uniform Commercial Code, that's filed in the Secretary of State's office. And what that does, anybody that offers or extends credit to a person or a business, it's like it's filed. It's filed to say, hey, I loaned Julia $500, make a record of it, so if she doesn't pay me back, I can come and get my $500 back out of her pretty purple scarf or something of that nature. So what it does, it's a way to document credit that has been given. And then when the person does not pay, they can take it back based on that document, whatever they used as collateral. Or if it's a huge piece of property, they can take it back, and if they can get it back through a lien, a tax lien. So you can go down to the recorder of deeds and put a tax lien on a piece of property. So if that property is ever sold, the person will have to give that money back to the lien holder. What the document does, it confirms the commitment between two parties, the buyer and the seller. Yeah. The archives are the documents that are filed in the state library that holds Illinois' history. There are documents that goes back to when Illinois was created, the first settlers. The Secretary of State's office is the official record keeper of the state of Illinois. So any document that you're looking for, we should have it if it was filed. And that's why I say I'm definitely the best candidate for this job because, you know, I've worked in the library before, not this one, but the school library. And you know, when you learn the Dewey Decimal System, that doesn't change. You know, it stays with you the rest of your life. The interesting part about the archives and the files is the history that has been created in the state of Illinois is held there. And any other, like the Library of Congress, would have some of the same information. We provide that information, so it goes there as well. But for the state of Illinois, and we want to make sure that all of the information that goes on in the state of Illinois is filed properly and factually. That's important. Because if you file something that's mistrue, it will remain in there as mistrue. So it's always, you know, a good opportunity for information to be filed. And a lot of the information, Julia, comes from acts that are written through the legislators, and or it has come from bills, you know, that have been passed and put through, or proclamations in the communities, you know, mayors, new buildings, documents of national historic sites. It's Illinois history. And so I would be in charge of making sure all of those records are filed and kept.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Now, you guys got a lot of work to do. I mean, it's good to
Yeah.
know all the different entities.
Actually, Julie, there's 21 departments.
Okay.
And out of all of those 21 departments, I have to say, I have not worked in that department, but I've had my hands in almost every one of those departments.
Okay.
I've worked for ComEd,
Yes.
you know, and I had
The
my
city
own
of
business.
Joliet,
I worked for
yeah.
the city of Joliet. And, it's just, the Secretary of State's office is just such a all-around, it combines every facet of people's everyday lives. And everybody who has been an adult has had some business with them. You know, we handle securities, property securities, individual securities when people, you know, they file securities or annuities and all of that kind of stuff. And everything is regular. They focus on the fact that I run, and I'm sure other people will focus on, well, she runs all the time and she
Yeah.
never wins.
Yeah.
What is important to know about that, it's not about winning.
Yeah.
Although I'm not running just to run, I want to win.
Right.
But it's about the experiences that you gain along the way.
Absolutely.
Each seat that I ran for had a different, I was running for a different issue, each one,
Yeah.
but they all come back to wanting the best for Illinois or whatever, the state.
Yes.
When you think in terms of a seat, and okay, so you lose, but it's a different area. Look at the people that you've met, the relationships that you've kept, and then you go to the next area. You have different climate to that community, the people that you've met, and it just goes on in the experience.
Yeah.
And the areas, and you put them all together, and you hope that you will get those same votes.
Mhm.
You know, because had I not run for those seats, I wouldn't know these people, nor would I know the area. I would know the climate of the area, of the
Well, I
jurisdiction.
want to
So-
chime in. There is, like you said, it's the experience, it's the knowledge that you gain, it's the camaraderie, it's
Right.
the, I mean, you've had several years of college just through your experience.
Oh,
you
for
know?
sure.
Yeah.
This is one thing that I want to say, I will make this very clear.
Okay.
And I've had to say this, I've had individuals ask, you know, when they're open for questions, they say, so what is your next step? Now, a lot of times, this is a statewide seat, and some of the statewide seats, they call them the executive, state executive seats, they move into government. I am not interested in being governor. This is where the buck stops. I am very excited about being elected to Secretary of State, and I think 1 or 2 terms should be enough. By then I'll be of age to completely retire. Because I retired from ComEd, I retired from the insurance, I retired from the store, and so I'm gonna take this, maybe 1 term or 2 terms, and that's it. Because I believe in term limits. I don't believe you should spend your whole life in a political career, because it's for public service, and there's many millions of people that want to do the same thing. So if you do a couple of terms, and then you allow the next person to step in.
And speaking of terms, what's the term limit on this?
4.
4 years?
It's 4 years.
Okay.
So that 2 years will be 8 years.
Okay.
And, you know, I don't know, maybe I'll just do 4.
Yeah.
You know, I'm getting up in age, and, you know, but I just think in terms of term limits,
Okay, yeah.
that it is totally fair to say term limits should be set in 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, 8 years, no more.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
You know, to give some of the other people an opportunity. It's public service.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Some
It's not
personal
public
ideas.
career
Yeah.
service.
Right.
It's public service, which
Yeah.
means everybody should have an opportunity.
Absolutely.
In the Secretary of State's office, we have a lot of online services.
Yes,
But in the new consideration is license online. Now, I would propose that we have a choice for those who want online license, so be it. Because there's a era of individuals that only use online. They were born that way. They don't even focus on paper. And it's okay if that's their comfort zone. But there's also another generation that could care less about having a driver's license online. So the choice should be out there for both. We should be able to provide online. You have the option. If you want yours online, then that's what you'll have. And if you want yours the regular way, that's what you should have.
And I also want to ask you, will you vow to try to make that process a little easier? I mean, I went online and did mine. I went online and did some other elderly people that were not, computer savvy.
Yeah.
But you have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to even make a reservation, and then half the time we have to drive out of town because nothing's available here in town. For a senior to do that, that's kind of complicated.
Yeah, that's one of the issues that's on my platform.
Yes.
I get that complaint everywhere I go. I think that the appointment process works for some, but it does not work for all.
Right.
And it doesn't work for individuals who are not tech savvy on that phone. And it doesn't work for individuals who make an appointment and have to go and then have to wait. And if you make an appointment and you have to take off from work, and then you have to wait when you get there, then you have to drive out of your taxing district to go somewhere else, that's not being user friendly, it's not being friendly. And I think that the DMV should be a people-serving form of government, and that's where it has stopped. And that's what I want to bring back to that office. We want to serve the people. Right now, we're serving government, running around, not getting what we need, getting frustrated, taking off from work, and the fees are astronomical, and everything costs so much, and the seniors and the veterans and individuals like them, and they're not really getting their just dues. What I would like to do when I'm elected is take a look at the budget, see where the waste is, because I know there's a lot of waste. There's a lot of waste everywhere. It's just that it has to be identified. and maybe allocate some of that spending to allow some discounts for seniors and veterans, and even for just average people. But keep in mind, I can't do that in my office without legislation. We cannot change fees, anything to do with fees or funding without the state legislators. So I'm hoping that, and it doesn't matter whether they're Democrats or Republicans, I'm hoping that when I propose that, I would love to have some legislation written so that we can reduce the fees for the seniors and the veterans, that they won't have an objection to that. And the reason is because this is a human, existing problem that will help individuals at least sustain themselves. Because, I mean, my licenses are expensive. The plate, you know, and if you have more than one car, now you still have, you know, and you know, I'm a senior citizen, so, you know, I don't get a break. And, you know, I am blessed, but still, what about individuals who have just a tight pocketbook and they want to have at least a little discount? I'm not saying free, because when you use the word free, it's not free. Someone is paying. So we're talking about maybe just a reduction, a discount that will help them along the way. Yeah.
Security and enforcement.
Okay, now, did you know, Julia, that the Secretary of State has their own police department?
I did not know the Secretary of State. He informed you all. I did not know. So let's go through that. Yes.
And some say, well, how do you feel qualified? Well, I don't know if you remember, but I used to work in the Will County Jail.
Yeah, I've been all over.
So I have. I've been all over. So I am familiar with what goes on in the police department and also in the jail. The police for the state of Illinois, they are currently contracted. They're contracted. But what they do is they police all of the buildings that are public. All of the state governmental public buildings. And they are assigned to each building. If you've gone to Springfield, you see the security, they have you at the desk, you gotta check in, put your information down, your purse, and it's just like when you go to the Will County Jail. Well, those police, they're the same thing. They do that in all the governmental buildings.
Such as Social Security? Is that different?
Yeah, they are too, but I don't think they have a scanner.
Yeah, but I mean, but that's the Secretary of State.
Governmental business.
Any
governmental business, that's where you'll see the Secretary of State. Those individuals have been hired to the Secretary of State. And they also investigate carjackings. And they have their responsibilities.
Okay, well, let me just read this. Security and enforcement. The Illinois Secretary of State Police enforce laws related to office, including security of the Capitol. Because you know I'm going to go there. So they were, you know, I'm going to January 6th.
That's federal.
All right, so the Capitol, security of the Capitol, what Capitol?
So, but that's federal. But let me say this, so it would be, I'm thinking of Illinois. Illinois is not gonna go there, but they have their own. So they would be the officers that would secure that place as well. No, so what were you doing?
Well, actually, because I'm wondering, with January 6th, were the Illinois Secretary of State Police there?
Not from Illinois.
Because it says the Illinois Secretary of State Police enforce laws related to the offices, including security for the Capitol. So I'm just reading, I'm taking it point blank as it reads.
Okay, so let's say that there was some instance that individuals that lived in Illinois were there on January 6th. So they would be enforced here.
Okay.
They wouldn't go to Washington
Okay.
because they're not under that jurisdiction.
I got you.
That's why I thought you meant that the
Okay.
state of Illinois police went there. No.
Yeah, okay.
But they would handle our people from
I-
that may have been there.
Good,
Yeah.
good, clarifying that, that's very good.
Yeah.
Okay, and so when you get in that office, you named a couple of things that you would like to tackle on day one, and that is the process of getting our driver's license for one thing, and then the other one was what?
Well, there's several things. The one is to try to speed up the process.
Yes.
I think that I would like to work with the unions
Okay.
so that we could take a look at the job descriptions to see if we can streamline some of the processes to make sure that when the people come in, they can move swiftly. And not to try to do away with jobs or, hire. I'm sure that can come in later, because the Secretary of State's office does hire or employ 4,000 people. But my point is to utilize what we have to make it better. I worked in an office before, and I was in a union. I was also on the side. So my concern would be, are we utilizing the best time of our employees that we can? Streamlining processes so that if you come in, maybe you could do two things at the one stop. The person should be trained on more than just this or that. They should be able to do a little bit more. That way maybe the lines won't be so long. We won't have to make appointments to get in. I'd like to have some dedicated lines where you could just walk right in and get what you need. You shouldn't need an appointment. The appointment process has not worked in everyone's favor. It has been, it has worked for some, and it has not worked for others. And it may have worked for the ones who are always online, tech savvy. Not everybody is there. And that particular office should not be inconveniencing anybody. And so there has been some offices that have been closed. And that means those individuals really got to drive a distance just to get some service. Now, I would propose that some of the, I call them DMV deserts, that they have no DMVs in their area. And they may have had at one time, but now they don't because they weren't really getting that much traffic. And it doesn't make sense to have an office open when you have no one in there but the employees and nobody comes in during the day. You're just paying the employees and the utilities and there's nobody coming in. So if you have to close the building for that, then so be it. It's saving the taxpayer dollars. But you still have individuals that need service. So what I would propose is the service that they need, if we can put, maybe focus on a drive up in those places so you don't have to open the building back, or a kiosk, maybe in the community, like in the library, grocery stores, community college, post office, and then you can go in. Keep in mind, now this is for people that don't mind putting their credit card in, doing what they need to do, and getting what they need and walking out. That's, at least it provides some service for the individuals who don't have DMVs in their neighborhood,
That's exactly what I was going to say, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because there are, even if they don't have one in their neighborhood, they still need to have access.
They should have access,
Yeah.
and that's what,
Yeah.
and that's why I say the DMV is a people-serving business,
Yes.
governmental business, and we should be able to have that. That's what they say, for the people, by the people.
Yeah,
That's what that means.
I think that's an
Yeah.
excellent idea.
Yeah.
I think that is an
Yeah.
excellent idea.
So that's one of my platforms, and I really look forward to it. I've already communicated with a few of those individuals that head, like libraries and community colleges, and they think it's a wonderful idea, because when you keep in mind, we're not talking about money. So nobody has to take the machine out of the building and try to crack it open and get money out of there. It's not what it is. It's a credit card thing. Enter it, you get what you need, and the information goes right into the system, and everybody's happy, and they can go on about their business. Because time is important, time, and the government does not own our time, but they're taking it, and we don't want that. We want our time back.
I see that also as being excellent, because now you have seniors that can come down here, and you have someone here to assist them.
Exactly.
In getting what they need done.
Exactly.
Because as I stated, you know, I've been helping seniors get their driver's license online, and some of them I actually had to book them to go to Chicago Heights because it was not, you know, there was, and I'm talking, they're like 80s, in their 80s, you know, and that's not good being on the highway at 80.
Right.
But yeah, that's how I feel about it. Well, Diane, I think you have given us a wealth of information, and I love the fact that the ideas that you're bringing forth, I think they are going to greatly improve, you know, how we function, the speed, and just the access of it all together. And I think that's just marvelous.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I hope everybody else thinks that way too.
Yeah.
Then I don't know if the listeners are aware that the Secretary of State is also the chief librarian of all of the public libraries.
That's right.
And what they do is, you know, they somewhat oversee and also provide grant funding for libraries. So, you know, areas that may not be as up to date, you know, and they file for grants, you know, I think we can maybe look into seeing why they haven't been getting them, and maybe help with that process a little bit, because all areas need to be equipped with the resources to help the students, help the kids with literacy, you know, and I was on the literacy committee with an organization here in Joliet, and we know how important it is for kids in the community, especially kids of color, you know, to not have the resources that they need, and you know, so literacy is very important, and that's part of what the chief librarian would do, to focus on programs that focus on literacy. I think that the libraries can partner with more businesses to distribute some of the literature. I know you probably know there's been some controversy on some of the books that have been in the library, and because taxpayers have the right to complain about that as well. Some of those that are really, that has an agenda that parents just aren't comfortable with, that keeps them from coming to the libraries. Some of those we can partner with business owners who own bookstores to maybe put some of that type of literature in the bookstores, not for pay, but just to be there so that the taxpayers feel comfortable about the type of information that's being put out. You know, I don't want to get too far into it, but there are some books we cannot, as a library, discriminate on any books. We're a public information facility. So
we, you know, come up with all kinds of solutions for ideas, and that's what I think the public wants to hear. The citizens, the American citizens, want to hear solutions.
Yes, exactly.
We need solutions. We don't want to throw dirt. We want real time solutions.
Right. There is one thing I will say, if anyone is interested in working on my campaign, I can use the help. It is volunteer, but you can learn as you go. We have the whole state of Illinois to cover, and and even if it's just Will County, that would be helpful. There are 102 counties in the state of Illinois, and I have touched ground on 47 of them, and I still have 52, some more to go, because each county, you know, has their own votes,
Yes.
and I want them all.
Absolutely. Tell them how to contact you if they want to.
Well, I have a website, and it's www.harris for the FOR spelled out SOS, which means Secretary of State, .com.
Wow.
And so you can find me there. And I'm all over social media. We have a Twitter account, I have a Instagram and X and LinkedIn, all of those, you can find me. And our campaign is doing really well. I've gotten so many endorsements, and I'm so proud and thankful to have the endorsements. Well, I recently got the Chicago Tribune endorsement, and Chicago Tribune, of course, you know, they serve many millions of people. So just for you to see that, you know, it means that we're doing well in our campaign. So, you know, and I'm pretty comfortable about winning the primary. But of course, I always say it's not over until the last vote is counted after March 17th. So I really, you know, hope to have everybody's support. Now, keep in mind, I want to share this too. At one time, if you pulled a Republican ballot, that meant you were a Republican, because they would file you as a Republican. Now, if you ask for a Republican ballot, it does not make you a Republican. But keep in mind, in the primary, that's the only ballot that you will be casting. But then in the general, you could pull, you'll have whatever ballot you want, because my name and the other party's name will be on there. So there'll be two names for the general. But again, you don't have to, when you pull a ballot, it doesn't make you a Republican like it used to. When I used to ask people, hey, why don't you pull a Republican ballot to vote for me? I said no. It was like cutting off an arm. But it's not like that anymore, because the only thing you're doing is helping me win, so that when November comes, there's two names on the ballot. It will be mine and the other opponent.
Good, be informed.
Yeah. Now, I'm understanding my opponent has $5 million. Of course, I don't have $5 million, but I do have a contribution page if anyone's interested in donating.
Okay.
And
what's that page?
That's on the website as well. It's again www.harris4sos.com, and you just click on donation, and no amount is too small. I just need to get the word out and get people to believe in my platform and what my plans are. And again, it doesn't matter what party I sit with, because my focus is to make sure that the service in the DMV serves everyone that is legal and qualified to have the services.
Absolutely. And so you've heard it once again. Diane Harris, the Secretary of State for the state of Illinois. Go on her website, look at her platform. I'm sure she has more information than we're covering here on her website. So, and then the next thing you do is go and vote, right? And that election, that voting day is?
Well, early voting has already started, but election day is March 17th. But don't wait, go now.
Go now. Bye-bye.
All right.